Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about not only single moms, but believe it or not, single moms who are so hypocritical. And what I mean by being so hypocritical, who have kids from either a previous relationship or previous relationships on behalf of the ones who have kids by multiple men, who would prefer, instead of dating a man who's more so on their level or in their league, prefer dating men only without kids of their very own. Now, with that being said, I wanted to show you some TikToks on behalf of various single moms giving their perspectives on why they would prefer a man without kids, as crazy as it may sound, on behalf of dating a man who's more so on their level. Listen to these here clips. First, I wanted to show this here clip because, and due to it being music playing, I'm going to mute the video so I won't have to get accused of a copyright strike. I wish a nigga would. Now, while this lady here is dashing on behalf of choosing men without kids, although she happens to be a single mother, just judging by the caption. And let me read this. As a single mom, I only date men with no kids. And she has no in all caps. And the way y'all hate that is next level mental illness. Now, am I right or wrong, folks? Is this not the serious form, what I'm trying to say, of mental illness? You being a woman with kids from a previous relationship or relationships, like I say always on behalf of the women, with various kids by various men. Is this not the sincerest form of mental illness, preferring a man who doesn't have kids or a family of his very own? A man who would have to start, if he wanted to have his very first kid, would have to already take on a ready-made family, as some people consider them as, by you being a single mother with kids from a previous relationship or relationships. And not only that, but having to either take on, if he may have a reproductive issue, whereas he's not able to create kids, which very few men suffer from, but let's just say hypothetically, or even if he may have his very first own kid, he still will have to deal with, if he marries you, to not only being a kid, sharing a kid with you, by that being his very first kid with his DNA, but will have to also share the burden, or deal with the burden of dealing with being a stepfather. And to add insult to injury, it may become a case where the kid is, she may have multiple kids, that is, and let's just say all her kids are by various men. All of them are toxic. All of them fit the description of a Pookie or a Ray Ray. That would be even more of a burden he would have to deal with as well. That's why I don't condone men without kids dating women with kids, although it's kind of hard at the same time in these days and times, due to there being so many women over the age of 25, even some as young as 21, who have kids, and some as young as 21 who have multiple kids. And shoot, for that matter, even kids where women that is as young as 18. Because at one while, I was working for a temp service years ago, over 10 years ago, and I came across a female who happened to be around 18 at the time. Believe this when I tell you, happened to have 3 kids that young of age. Anyways, let me read this as well. Serious question she had for the caption. Why is it always the people, or you could say text, I like to call it text. Serious question, why is it always in all caps? And I don't understand why people use all caps. Anyways, and to each their own. Why is it always the people, once again, in all caps, without kids, that you are so worried about who the F, if you catch my drill, people when kids date? she wanted to really say the F-U-C-K. Aren't y'all supposed to be free and turn? Why y'all always so worried about us? And you see her dancing, and this here short with a super soaker it seems to be. Now let me show you this here clip of a woman saying why she would prefer a woman who happens to be a single mom and admitting to her being hypocritical, believe it or not, on why she prefers men without kids.
Like, I'm a single mother myself. I don't have a lot of support, but I still make time for you. It was always kind of like a crutch. And I felt like I can't do this no more. So for me, I personally wouldn't want to meet a man with a child. I'm open to it, but I just feel like it's not something that I would be interested in because I just don't want to deal with somebody else that aspect. My child's father, he's non-existent. You know, he comes
Right.
every birthday, that's it, or whatever. So I have no issues, no man knocking down or like saying, don't be around my son. But for me personally, I don't want to date anybody with a child.
But
I feel
isn't that hypocritical because
I
you
just
have
said
one?
I'm a hypocrite. I know.
But does that? Are you saying? Are you going to say that's going to change as you get older, or just is
I
standard?
mean, it. Like I said, I was open to dating a man with a child. I did. He had 2 different baby mothers.
Was that your first and last one?
No.
Now, on behalf of her, crazy as it may sound, once again, being a woman who is a single mom with a son and would prefer a man without kids, only a man without kids, because so many modern day women, that is, she appears to be in her 30s, give and take somewhere in her 30s. Anyways, so many women within this age bracket, so many modern day women have such crazy, and excuse me, because I do stumble across my words from time to time, which I need to work on not doing. Anyway, so many modern day women, and this is a perfect case in point, have such crazy trains of thoughts to the point where it's ridiculous, from having some of the most delusional standards. And this here is a perfect example, especially on behalf of this woman here being a single mom. That's no different than, and women, put yourself in the shoes of cashier, being a cashier who works at a store, a local grocery store. And you may, while being a cashier, may have to be in the middle of ringing up a customer's groceries. So the store may happen to be very short-handed on employees, even be short-handed on custodians. Now, on this being not your typical day, whereas you may be fully staffed at grocery store you may work at, and you may be in the process of ringing up customer after customer's groceries. It may happen to be a manager or supervisor who may come to you and may, as soon as you may get done ringing up a customer's groceries after having a very long lane. By the way, your lane could be literally the only lane open in the grocery store, and you may have upwards to, I would say, 8 more customers in line to get waited on. Now, once you may get done ringing up one customer's groceries, you may have to work on cleaning up a spill on one of the aisles. Once again, while at work, the store is short-handed, very short-handed, when no more cashiers, no more custodians, and you happen to be picked as the main employee to happen to have to get up a spill off of one of the aisles in the store. Imagine how upset you will feel and how you will look at that as not being your main job to do. You will look at it most likely as a custodian's job to do, even if the store may happen to be short-handed. Imagine how much low that will make you feel or seem, having to, not only because having a cashier is already one of the lowest jobs a person could settle for, but having to settle for being a custodian on a very short day as well, both a cashier and a custodian. Imagine how overbearing that would be. You would look at that as being, well, to a certain extent, that's how a man some men, that is, without kids, may feel when dating women with kids due to the extra burden they have to take on when not only being the stepfather of their most likely out of wedlock kids, but also having to take on the burden of meeting the kids' fathers. And if the kids' fathers may have a track record of being in trouble all the time with the law and having such a toxic demeanor, chances are that man who may be dating the single mother, the man without kids, may be very reluctant about meeting the kid's father or fathers. If that man may happen to meet the description of either a Ray Ray or a Pookie, anyways.
Instead of being mad at women with kids for dating men without kids, like they're on reserve or something, be mad at the men for wanting us. If they didn't want us, we would not have them as an option. Y'all say pick better, and we pick someone that wants us and treats us the way we want to be treated, but because they're childless, it's a problem. Are we supposed to reject them because they don't have kids and y'all have a problem with it? Or because y'all have this imaginary rule that people with kids can only date people with kids? Or is it because y'all can't find a childless man that wants you? If so, why does it matter that she has a childless man? Or you don't care as long as you have one? And before y'all say they just want to sleep with us, like that means it'll happen, they want to sleep with y'all too. And y'all don't have kids. Y'all have a vagina just like we do. Men also will sleep with any and everything. So what's new? It's men out here loving women with kids and committing to them all the time. You can't be with everyone, and if that child-free man was meant for you, he wouldn't have ended up with the mom.
Okay, so I'm a single mom, and I've been a single mom since my son was 5 weeks old. And becoming a single mom at that, has changed my perspective on a lot of stuff, including guys with children, guys that are single with kids. And 9 times out of 10, I would never date a guy with kids. And I have a kid. Let me explain why. So the way my mind thinks of it now is that there are some women out there that are choosing to be single moms. There are some women out there that, are shitty moms. There are some moms out there that did their partners dirty and, the split was because of them. That's very much so possible. However, most moms are not choosing to be single moms. That's the way I think about it now. When a man is trying to entertain me and he has a child, it makes me think, why didn't you and your baby mother work out? Because now she's a single mom. You know what I mean? And when you have a kid, whether it's with someone that you're married to, a relationship with, or whatever, you're expecting a family. You're expecting your child to have both parents in the same house, together, amicable, in love. So when you're raising a child separately, something must have happened. And first of all, let's be for real. As moms, 9 times out of 10, we don't have time to cheat. We're being moms. Let's be for real. And I'm not saying cheating is the only reason why a relationship could not work. Because I've had men tell me that, them and their baby mama didn't work out because their baby mama was tripping or whatever. And it's like when a man tells me that their baby mama's tripping, and let's say their kid is a year old, that makes me feel like, okay, so she's going through postpartum and you didn't have the mental capacity or the patience to deal with her postpartum. Especially if it's a situation where he gets his kid every other weekend. No mom is choosing that. No mom wanted that to happen. Especially if he has multiple baby mamas. If he has 2 or more baby mamas, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I learned my lesson the first time. Why the fuck you haven't? Moral of the story is I'm getting a private investigator on whoever the fuck I end up with next. Seriously, whoever I end up dating, oh, best believe the PI is going to be on that ass. Because these men be lying about why they're not with their baby mamas no more. They be motherfucking lying. And I'm not even necessarily thinking about baby mama drama, because ain't no baby mama drama when it comes to my child's biological father and me. That shit is over and done with. When we broke up, we broke up. But it's because of how bad he did me. And especially after the fact, the disrespect that I've gotten after the fact. So that's what made me think too, when a situation is so volatile to the point where I won't even entertain any type of conversation with you as your child's mother, as someone from the outside looking in, someone's trying to date you, and that's the dynamic you have with your baby mother, that would make me side eye you too. Why y'all, why is it that bad, the beef that y'all got? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, there are some men out there that are genuinely good single fathers that, they stepped up to the plate and they got their kids and, they're doing what they're supposed to do. I wouldn't mind one like that, but once again, my PI would confirm to me that that's what the fuck that is, because majority of these single dads are not single dads. And I'm also going to exclude dads that have like legit court order, like full custody of their kids, because if the court gave you full custody of your kid as a dad, then there legit is something wrong with the mama, because they never do that shit unless they really, really have to. Because it is very possible for a mom to be a shitty mom and for a mom to, go MIA on her kids and, for a mom to, I've heard of that before. I know that's possible, but it's not as likely as a motherfucker to lie about why him and his baby mama not together. Okay, so
Once again, just some prime examples and cases of point of the delusional standards that not only modern women usually may have, but modern single mothers may have, on behalf of the single mothers who may prefer men, only men specifically without kids or families of their very own. On top of that, this is also a perfect case in point of how crazy trains of thoughts so many modern day women, specifically women with kids who may be single mothers, may have. And like always, make sure to like, share, comment, and last but not least, subscribe to the channel. And I'm out.